All right, guys, here is one of your final things you have to do to end this semester. So I'm going to go over your end of semester final flipbook, and we're going to start with linear equations. So it's going to be a lot of slopes, so make sure you're paying attention. So we've got to remember when we're talking about slope intercept form is the y equals mx plus b. Slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Intercept form. This is how I want it. I want mx plus b in that order. So my m, we've got to remember, stands for my slope or rate of change. My slope or my rate of change is my m. My b is many things. It's going to be my y-intercept. It's going to be my starting point. It's also going to be my initial value. So your y-intercept, your starting point, as well as your initial value. Right here, it says, what is the rate of change? Y equals. This is our formula. We've got to remember, what is the rate of change? We've got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is going to give me my slope. So when I'm saying y1 and y2, we've got to remember, I have ordered pairs right here. This one is 0, 3. This one would be 2, 0. And what you've got to remember when we learned this with that was that this is x1, this one is y1, this one is x2, this one is y2. So I can go in and plug in these numbers in my formula and get an answer. So let's see, y2, my y2 is 0, my y1 is 3, my x2 is 2, my x1 is 0. All I have to do is go put this into my calculator, and we're going to be using alpha y equals, because I want to be using a fraction. So I hit alpha y equals, use the parentheses, parentheses 0, parentheses minus, parentheses 3, parentheses, then go to the bottom, parentheses 2, parentheses minus, parentheses 0, parentheses. And my slope is already going to be in fraction form. That would be -3 over 2. It's that easy. Remember, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It says rate of change means the same thing as slope. So if you get on the final and they keep switching the word between rate of change and slope, you just need to remember that these mean the same thing. All right, our next one. We're looking at the graph now. It says x-intercept. What is my 0? Remember, your 0 is where you cross the x-intercept. Where we cross the x-intercept. And where I cross the x-intercept is right here at 2, 0. My y-intercept, we've got to remember when I'm talking about my y-intercept, I'm crossing the y-intercept, the y-axis. That one, I already have it labeled. That one would be 0, 3. Now I want to know my slope. This is very easy. What would my slope be? Well, let's see. I've got to remember my formula. We've got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. When I have these 2 points, which we have already done right here, I can answer this question. So remember, y equals mx plus b. I know that -3 over 2 is my m value. I know that my y-intercept 0, 3 is my b value. So I'm just going to use the y value when it comes to my b. So watch this, equation of the line. Well, let's look at the slope. We already said that it was -3 over 2. Now my equation, y equals, our slope was -3 over 2 because we just did that together, x, and then I'm at +3, so plus 3. There is the equation of my line. Let me clean this up a little bit. Actually, let's leave it so you know what we're referring to. All right, this next one, it says, what is the rate of change? This is where I want you to use stat edit. This one is going to be our friend, stat edit. All right, so you need to remember, first step, you hit stat. This one is number 1. Number 2, I'm going to hit edit. Notice how I have this X table and this Y table. This is what is exactly going to go under L1 and L2. So I need to look at L1. I need to be typing in -2, -1, 0, 1. Then I need to go over to L2 and I need to type in my Y values, -10, -7, -4, -1. I need to type in L1 and L2. That's number 3. L1 and L2 is number 3. All right. Then I'm going to hit stat again. Hit stat again. That's step 4. Then I'm going to go over to calc. Calc is step 5. Y'all remember this. We did this over and over and over. Then what do we go down to? You're right. We're going down to len reg. Len reg. That's step number 6. This is number 4. So number 4, len reg. And then all I got to do is calculate. That's my last step, is to calculate. So when I go down to calculate and I hit enter, it's going to literally give me my equation. So if I look at it, I've got y equals ax plus b. You need to know that the a is the same thing as m. It says my a is 3. It says my b is -4. But what I'm asking for is the rate of change. That's the same thing as slope. This right here would be my slope. So that's the answer I'm going to write down. However, I want you to look at it. When we do stat edit, it gives us exactly what we need to write the equation. So my equation would be y equals 3x minus 4. So if they give you a table, you literally can do this. You could also do this if they give you 2 ordered pairs like we saw in the previous problem. All right, so this is our linear portion. I'm going to pause the video and then you can go and watch the next part.